Lisa Saunders. Welcome to Pac-B TV. And as you can see, I'm coming from Baldwinsville, New York. For those of you that live in this area, you'll see this is the mural I first saw when I came to Baldwinsville. And I've got Mr. Mural here himself. So I'm so excited to meet you, Mark. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what's behind you and what you do.
Oh, my name is Mark DeCracker. I'm with Mural Mania, the preservation of history through community art. And behind me is our latest mural project. We're honoring those who worked on the Erie Barge Canal. So this mural is involving right now and it's hoped to be up in April. And it was started with a blank canvas, and we're showing the dipper dredge. And you're going to have to learn about all that history in the future when we talk about this later. But it's an ongoing process. It's all done with volunteers who are learning how to paint.
Oh, this is exciting. And you are looking for more volunteer artists, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We even had a program called Mural Mania for kids. And that's, you teach them young and they take those skills to the
Oh, this is perfect. All right. Now I want to get to your slideshow because I've met you because I talked to you about your murals when I was walking the Erie Canal Trail, and your murals are making these old towns for me. So go ahead and show your slideshow.
In fact, that's a mural you found. Where's this going? I said, well, it's in the studio right now. So let's share our screens here. And Mural Mania, the preservation of history through community art. This was our logo from around 2007. We keep tweaking that as we move along. So I'm going to start sharing a few slides of how we became basically an icon of Central and Western New York here. This is what got us all going was the Erie Canal made New York State into the Empire State. Well, and then we have so much history to tell. And in a matter of a short period of time, we've got now 85 miles of murals in every community from Fairport, New York to Syracuse. And just like there was closing the gaps with the bike ride, I think we can close these gaps with your mural trail as well. Pretty much, it's pretty solid from Syracuse to Buffalo. We need to work on the eastern part. And hopefully, because of this, more communities will join.
Now, you said you're currently looking for a wall in Baldwinsville, so you can add another.
When I was in Baldwinsville, there's some great restaurants down there. Lot 24 has brand new cement walls that they probably refurbished in the last 20 years or something. Those are great surfaces for a mural. And they can be put on this special fabric that could be put up when the season's down, before they fill it with water, and we can have it above the water line. So as a boat is locking through, they can sit there and learn their history lesson, right? Because it's probably going to take them 15 minutes. So I think we can tell quite a story in 15 minutes.
Oh, that's exciting. I hope you get permission to do that and get some local artists to do that work. That sounds exciting. All right. So these are the little red spots are what you have so far, right?
Right. Well, that's
where you can find a mural.
Yeah, there's
murals. That's right. That is part of it. Right.
Oh, yeah, it goes on to the west, but I had to stop.
Okay.
Something.
Yeah. Okay. So go on.
This is just an overview of what I first, see. We just came up on the 100th anniversary of the Barge Canal. So this is where we're celebrating that. That's where this mural that behind me started generating, honoring the Barge Canal, the workers there. And then upcoming in 2025 is the 200th anniversary or bicentennial of the Erie Canal. So with that said, we've got 2 or 3 years to get some more murals to tell the story about digging the canal, Clinton's Ditch, the Irishmen, and what they had to persevere to build this great jewel of New York State. So hopefully we can get everybody on board and make this happen and close those gaps. So at least telling the story of our 200th anniversary and the wedding of the waters. We're going to start here today in Newark. Like I said, we could go on further to the west, but I want this to be more of a viewership for Central New York. So Newark isn't too far away. It's a stay-cam, a destination for people to drive out, especially during COVID. This has been a godsend for people who have been trapped in their houses to get out and find these artworks and outside. People have been going outside more so than ever.
Yeah.
There's a mural started in 2008, and it shows the wedding of the waters under a bridge on East Avenue. And this is done by Corky, Goss, and Chip Miller. Corky was a art professor at Casanova, Central New York College, of course, private college, and he's a great artist, and he did this on his summer jobs in between teaching. Here's some pictures of him painting. On the right, he's painting a red jacket. Actually, that medallion that he's painting was given to him, given to Red Jacket from George Washington. So how cool is that? So,
yeah.
and this is what I thought was pretty cool. I was on the World Canal Conference, different than the Murals, but it was celebrating the Erie Canal, and it was held in Rochester, New York, and I think a couple years ago it was in Syracuse. This woman came up and she's looking at a red jacket and she says, music and art are the universal language. Just think about that. That is something that murals can communicate with anybody. Tells that story.
Wow, so she's from China and she came to this mural conference?
Yes,
wow.
Yeah, and she says, this is awesome.
Wow.
This is another mural this is honoring probably the first person with Title IX. He was a community center director, and he was really supportive of women's sports, probably 20 years before it became something active. And so this is kind of honoring his legacy, what he did. And that's kind of what we like to do, is honor those before us who have made a significant impact on the history of our area. This is one that New York used to be the rose capital of the world. You've heard of Jackson and Perkins roses? Used to have 50,000 people attend a parade, and in over maybe 100,000 would visit during the summer. And this moved out in the 60s. Unfortunate, but it makes a lot of people sad sometimes when you paint stuff like that. They go, why did that have to leave? And it's economics. It's easier to grow out in California and Oregon and things like that. But we want to honor the significance of the roses. And you find remnants like a rose. Used to be a Rose Capitol Theater. There used to be there's still a Rose Diner. And people go, why they named that? Well, it's because of the Rose Gardens. And this is now the Facebook page for the village of Newark.
Ah, nice.
Remembering Newark. So that's kind of cool that they gave us props for that. And then I came up with this idea of, I was at the Global Mural Conference in Sherbrooke, Quebec, and they had this heart floating in the sky and a 3-story mural. And I go, we can do that. We had to like match the same pigment of the sky, and we painted the sky, and we painted this like 7-foot rose that hangs in the sky to celebrate that.
Wow.
And that's done with this material Evelyn, and below it is the part that I worked on here. It's a village. Maybe you've heard of urban renewal, and it's hit a lot of the communities along the Erie Canal. It was the way they thought if we built new and modern, people would be more attracted to open business. Well, it kind of had the reverse effect. They just took down this whole block, and I remember people crying when they took down this one particular tavern that had the best pizza and all that. When the day it took it down, I was working when I was young there, and I said, I'm going to bring that back. And all this amazing architecture, Noel's Ark, and you can see the City Hall there, was all disappearing. It's a parking lot now. So that was my little political statement on that. But anyway, moving ahead here.
Yeah, we have a lot to cover.
You can see the kayaker in front of it. And here's James Eager. He's one of our mural painters, painting in a 1957 Chevy into the mural in the street there.
There's something very cool about that perspective, you know?
Yeah, it is.
of seeing the artist paint. I don't know. It's just like, I did a double take the first time I saw it. That's
oh yeah,
cool.
I bet you did. And then in the last year in their Newark Mural Club, they painted this. It's the Rose Parade, where those 40 to 50,000 people, and there were elephants in the parade.
Yeah, I was gonna say that couldn't be true, but it is, huh?
It is in the 50s, and and so the guy with a 57 Chevy, he sponsored part of the mural. So that's how you work things into it. The elephants. This is a mural that we just got done this year. We painted, we stopped painting when COVID hit, but we picked it up about 3 months later and got this up in July. And
I can't wait to come to Newark, because I've never been that I can remember. So
yeah.
It looks like you have a lot of murals in Newark.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it kind of gets, this is quickly, it's just showing 2 forms of transportation, actually 3, there's a truck in the background. The Southern Railroad brought coal from Pennsylvania to Sodas Point and shipped off to Canada. And there used to be a coal trestle. There's another mural about that. And the Urger was the oldest tugboat functioning on the Erie Canal. Now it's kind of in limbo, but we wanted to honor this Urger because I was on it. It's cool. I went all the way to New York City on the Urger. It's awesome. And so this mural was just done, and you can see this along the Erie Canal Trail. The bikers will see this, and they came by as we were putting this up last summer. Now we're in Lyons. This is our first mural that was put up in 1990. And kind of out of Mural Mania, we realized it was fading, so we repainted it over in 2010. And this is probably seen by more people because this is by the McDonald's drive-through.
And I don't think I've seen that one. I can't believe how many murals in Lyons I haven't
coffee
seen.
When you came to Lyons, okay. Anyway. But this shows, you know, people settling the community, and the aqueduct that was in Lyons, it's disappeared here. So in the village clock, I think so. This shows a couple of shots. I remember the artist asking me, "How can we draw a moon in?" I said, "We were in like this Grange, and they were doing a rummage sale." And I said, "There's a 45 over there. I think if you trace it, it'll look like the moon." See, we got to be innovative when we paint here. And I think I used some kind of like string to do the arches of the aqueduct, which was, here's a reference to Central New York, Camillus. This aqueduct was almost like, it was exactly like Camillus's. So I used Camillus, photos of Camillus that was already in as references to paint this. So that gives you an idea how you can bring all this together.
Yeah.
This is, a lot of times I like to do a 180 on a particular site. This is where the most famous mural in Lyons is Winston's Dream. This is what it looked like. It was a dump. That's what got me fired up. I mean, how can you sit there in the Erie Canal and do this to it? You fill it with garbage, the peppermint building you barely see behind it. And so we got motivated and we got volunteers together and we cleaned this up. I think we took out 35 tires out of this area.
Wow.
Former Erie Canal. Peppermint was shipped off the back of this, but let's not look at this unsightly site. Let's move on to something more pleasing. So then we started painting in 2007, and we had all ages, you know.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, that's my daughter. Now she's like going to be 20 this year, so that's she's doing this. And there's Goss being painted. I'll tell you a little bit about Goss a little later. And so then it became a community project. And in fact, I think one of these fellows that was helping there was from Baldwinsville. And we were, we totally took away all the garbage and put a park in. And people just brought in, donated stuff everywhere. It was such a moving experience in April of 2007. And here we are putting the mural up. Everybody coming together to do this. I recruited high school kids that came from their baseball game to help put the mural up. I mean, how cool is that? And this is it's our iconic shot. It's with the dog and the whole thing. These are all the volunteers that help put the mural up. And, you know, coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And I really felt that we pulled that all together. And we got to go back this year and do a couple of repairs. It's like 13 years old, so some of the wood had rotted. And that's what you saw when you went through. Snow came along. And then we had this dedication where 250 people were at. And that's kind of what got this movement going. People from other communities came and says, how can we do this? And then it was kind of Noel Dobbins. I just want to mention Noel, he was inspirational with me. If he was along now, we'd have the best website and everything, because he was just a force that was inspired me like crazy. So we had the school children singing God Bless America and I Got a Mule and on the 15-mile song. So that's all on YouTube, which you can check in our website. So.
And your website is?
www.muralmania.org. Okay,
well, that's easy to remember. Okay, yes. Good. Mm-hmm.
And there is a park today, and you know, with the flowers and
that's what I saw, and we just.
Well, you saw with some snow, but it looked lovely.
Yes,
so, and then that led to Noel kind of pushing his brother, who owns Dobbins Drugs. Noel Dobbins was his name, and talked him into doing a mural. So Dobbins Drugs mural was painted. So 3 generations. It shows the pharmacist from the grandfather to the father to the son. The son's leaning on the counter, and he's the owner now. And I think it's going to be 4 generational soon, because his daughter, I think, is going to come back and help there too. And that became so successful. But here's that across the street, the dentist office was just about ready to paint their building. So, hey, how about a mural? So we talked them into a mural across the street. And we just this past year, Corey Reynolds and I, who paints for me, he's a veteran, we fixed the bottom of the mural from water damage. The snow had been piling up and the bricks were deteriorating. So we fixed that. And to fix the grout line, we actually took a toothbrush and cleaned it out. So that's kind of interesting. So.
And I remember that mural of the little girl with the balloons. It's great. Yeah. Using that little space. Yeah.
I know. It's just little things that Corky that would made this pretty special. And Lyons, France is where the dentistry museum for the world is. So it's kind of connection to Lyons. Lyons was named after two rivers converging. That's why it was named Lyons. So a little history lesson there. And then James and I, we said, we got to do a second mural along with Noah. Let's do the Street of Dreams. So we took this kind of like, it's like the late, I think they changed the butter thing where it looked like the Native American went off in the distance forever. So I said, let's show this scene of the same street. Today, they can compare it to maybe 1914. So we did this. And if you go out a little bit in the street, you can look down the street, and a lot of those same buildings are still there today, like the clock and things. And the trolleys went through the street. That's one thing you found out. There's 7 trolleys painted in Lyons murals, and before that there was none. So then this led to a project that was for after-school kids, and they came up with a concept for this, and Corky designed it. And again, we just went back and did some repairs on this in the fall this year, Corey and I. And it's kind of cool optical illusion. You can follow this, and the canal follows you wherever you go. So I love this design there. And that's right in Lyons. These are all within like 100 feet of each other. And the peppermint. Lyons is known for peppermint capital of the world at one time. And you see on the right-hand side is a gold medal that Hotchidss won at the World's Fair. And this peppermint was shipped all over the world. That same scene that we were showing you earlier, it shows this is the Peppermint Museum here, and it's being loaded with peppermint to be shipped on to other communities around the world. And it shows the peppermint fields. My daughter, I'm right here.
Great.
Noel's laboring here. This is distillery, the building where they kept it in, and then they bottled and shipped it out of this building. That's another whole story, which we'll set up this summer. Then this led to, hey, we have this really old, cool fire truck. Let's do a mural of the fire truck. So this is on a tavern in Lyons. So they parked it in the garage there. So that's kind of it. And Maria Hoover was helping us paint the first mural I showed you of Lyons. And I said, why don't we get you a mural to paint yourself and get paid for it? So she did this. And then in 2016, we hosted the Global Mural Conference. We had it in Fairport because we needed a venue for lodging and things like that. So we went up there. But this mural was painted for Lyons. It's a gateway mural. As you drive down Route 14 on to Saunders Point, you'll see this iconic mural that's 10 by 37 feet. Totally done on metal. And there we are putting it up in 2016, shortly after.
Now, those stones aren't painted. That's the side of the building, and you decide.
Well, here, let me just show you. This is real stone, and up here is painted stones.
Oh, I can't believe it.
She brought the mural up, and it was kind of looking a little turquoise, and Erica, you're an amazing painter, but we got to make this more earth tones. So I tell you what, you do some tweaking to the mural this week, and I'll paint the rocks in. So that's what I did, and she added this carriage here. That wasn't in her original design because there's a tannery in this building here. That just is a little story behind it. There's a plaque that explains all that.
Well, every mural you've done has a story behind it. Now, if people go to your website, can they read some of these stories?
Oh, absolutely. And there's probably a dedication video on this mural. So
okay, and again, it's muralmania.org.
Yeah, if you want to step away from Netflix for a while and watch some YouTube, there you go. So this is the one I think you discovered, Lisa.
Yeah.
The Mosaic. It was just an idea we came up for the Global Mural Conference, and it's 726 inch squares, and we sent these to art students all over New York State, and they would send them back. I guess we end up losing about 30 of them, but that's probably something that would happen. Some are upside down. And we put this up a couple of years ago. Like the Empire State Building was upside down, so we fixed it. So things like that. But if you look closely, you'll see like Harriet Tubman, and you'll see apples. You'll see the Empire State Building. You see the World Trade Center, one with its up and one with the plane crashed into it. So it's
wow.
Yeah, these are a representation of all of New York State, and it's the theme on the Erie Canal. So it's something you really need to come up and see up close.
Yeah, so it looks like, and I think if I remember correctly, you can stand right up next to it, right?
Oh yeah, you can just read all these little squares.
Oh yeah, because I just didn't notice all that until you're telling me now.
Oh,
so now I have to go back. You have so much for me to see now.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the back side of this, well, we'll get to this. This is one we did this summer. We did the U.S. flag. And this is like 20 by 40. So we actually projected the flag in the middle of the night. We picked the longest day of the year, so we had to wait till 10:30 to do a projection, traced it out, and then started painting it. It was a hot summer, so it took us about 2.5 months to paint this. So that's people stopped. They were beeping their horns. It was awesome to see the. And it meant a lot to Corey being a veteran.
Yeah.
It just made it was special to see this healing when we did this. So, and then Corey and I put up Harriet Tubman, which was painted at the Global Mural Conference by students from M.C.C. And the Underground Railroad, it's significant to this area. And this is on the back side of Sales. So if you want to see it, it's right along the canal. The boaters would see it.
Ah.
And it shows that she led, 300 slaves to freedom, and all the way up. She kind of went all the way. This is her path. She went to like St. Catharines with this little dot that's here, but she went right through on the canal to get there. So
she took the canal with slave runaways?
Any way she felt safe, she would go.
Right.
So, and this is the one we're working on now, and it's kind of like a sepia to color, and this is like a Photoshop quick, and this will be up in April, hopefully, or April, early May.
And where is that going?
On the dry dock in Lyons.
Okay.
And this, actually, the dipper dredge is right behind it. So what's cool about this mural is the day I was born, my great-grandfather was working on this dipper dredge.
Ah, so much history and meaning.
Oh, and I had to paint him in, and I painted his, I remember him holding me as a young infant and having these huge veins that stuck out. So I actually painted his veins into the mural. You'll see him when you get up close. But that's been an awesome experience. These photos were given to me by a woman. Says, I found these photos, and it's my great-grandfather. So how cool was that? So
this is wonderful. Well, we only have a minute left. So
anyway, here's the we're going on the Clyde here, and that's the mural that you were in front of. So
yeah. That meant a lot to us because there was, it was freezing cold that day. And at least we could see, wow, exactly 160 years ago, we learned from the plaque, Lincoln was here talking to people, and there's people skating on the canal. The murals have really helped, especially since a lot of the Erie Canal museums in these little towns have been closed when we've gotten there. But we've learned something by reading the plaques and seeing the murals. So
I just want to bring that up. Plaques are very important because
yes,
if it wasn't a plaque, you wouldn't know the story that it was in the story of the 60s. This is on a harbor in Lyons. I'll just go through these, or excuse me, Clyde. This is the Grange, not in the Grange, the history of the Grange. I mean, these are cool things that they were responsible for. And this is one done by students of a trolley station. And then we have Savannah. And you can go to, the reason we got birds is because it's right near Montezuma Audubon. So,
okay. Yeah, I remember, that's on the side of a bank, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There's 30.
I loved it. We purposely stopped there. I said, oh, we got to get a picture of that. And I didn't know that this was all under your umbrella of the Mural Mania.
Yeah,
so we do have to get off, but I need to have you come back on the show again, because clearly there's a lot of stories behind these murals. I'd love for you to come back on again. Will you?
Sure. Sounds like we're going to start in Montezuma and go east next time.
Okay, yes. All right, we'll start in Montezuma and go east, and we can talk a little bit about Richmond Aqueduct too, because you have a painting of that. We need people. They're going to need help to find it because it's not as easy to find until you get to the parking lot, and then there's great maps and trails. But Mark, thank you so much for coming back on. And people can contact you if they want to volunteer their wall, or if they want to volunteer and paint. And they can go to your website and find where all these murals are so they can take a driving tour of them.
Yeah, looking forward to more volunteers and painters and more walls.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. I'll have you on again.
Oh, thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.